Hello everyone. Today it's June 10, 2021, and let's get started. Center announces hike in MSP for paddy pulses oilseeds. Farmer groups unhappy with the increase in paddy prices. The minimum support prices for most kharif crops have been increased for the present year, for the present season, and so that the return over cost of production is at least 50%. The price select list of crops are as follows. Okay. The central government has hiked 4% higher. Okay, so they are getting 4% higher returns. The MSP is the rate as which the government purchases crops from the farmers and based on a calculation of at least 1.5 times the cost of production incurred by the farmers. The announcement comes at a time when farmers unions have been protesting for more than 6 months on Delhi outskirts. They wanted legislation to guarantee MSP for all farmers for all crops and a repeal of three contentious farm reform laws. Okay. So yeah, this was like quite expected that they must be saying कि ये जुमले है, false promises. I mean, they're not going to do बस ये ऐसे ही दे रहे हैं हमें बेवकूफ बना रहे हैं types. So okay, let's move to other things. Shun vaccine nationalism, says UNG president. It will destroy efforts to eradicate pandemic. Vaccine nationalism would destroy countries' efforts to eradicate the pandemic. What is vaccine nationalism? It's a good topic, seems like, honestly. When a country manages to secure doses of vaccine for its own citizens or residents and prioritize its own domestic market before. Okay, okay, I think it's understood. So, yeah, and he is right about it. Okay, let's move. Former Minister Jitin Prasad leads Congress joins BJP. Not interested. Non-car holders return with empty hands as ration runs out. Despite several trips to distribution center, many were unable to get food grains. Green economy and mobility key aspects of draft 041 2041 master plan. It also focuses on affordable housing in situ rehabilitation. A dedicated green development area for incentivizing large-scale implementation of green economies, transit-oriented development aligned with mass transit, multimodal integration, and facilitation of the first and last mile connectivity are some of the key aspects of the draft master plan for Delhi, which was placed in public domain while inviting suggestions and objections from stakeholders. Okay, them working on developing green development area. Okay, inoculation drive for 18 to 44 age group restarts at government centers become resumes as city receives first stocks of vaccine. So please guys get vaccinated. 11 help for duping 50 lakh investors of 150 crore by mobile apps. Okay, replicate electoral machinery for vaccination. CM residents happy with the government initiative, he says. Okay, antibody therapy evokes good response. Beaten up and forced to chant. Okay, training for teachers to reconnect with students. Northeast. Okay, let's move ahead and just move to our section. Strong arm tactic weaken democracy. Okay, strong arm tactics. I don't think. Okay, the central government designs in West Bengal serves to undermine the structure of federalism. Is it cool if I don't know the meaning of federalism? Okay, let's see what it is. Federalism is a mix or compound mode of government that combines the general government with regional government in a single political system. Yeah, we can clearly see Mamta Didi going on her own. The results of the bitterly contested West Bengal elections were declared in early May. It has been more than a month since the Trinamool Congress won with a massive mandate. But the Bharatiya Janata Party and the central government still seem to unable to get over BJP's loss in the state. The BJP has tried every tactic in the book to put the Mamata Banerjee government under pressure, including restricting corruption charges against four leaders and serving a show cause notice to the now retired Chief Secretary of West Bengal. The state government has played a partition role both before and after the election. The center's action could be seen at one level as cynical politicking at a time when all its energy should be focused on mitigating the impact of COVID 19. Exactly. At another level, these designs serves to undermine the structure of federalism and democracy. Arrest of Trinamool leaders, a bureaucrat in controversy, government governor's role. Okay, this was a interesting topic, honestly. At home, government must protect the interests of children orphaned by COVID-19. I think they are working on it. Disasters may bring out the innate generosity of people, but sometimes even well-intentioned initiatives. Okay, I may go wrong. Many people that children orphaned by calamities are free for adoption, and the growing with well-off adoptive parents will give them a shot at a better life. However, adoption can be option only when children's safety and welfare can be ensured. Exactly. Let's see if we need to get through something. Many recall that following the December 2004 tsunami, there were ill-advised campaign calling upon the people to adopt children rendered orphans in several Asian countries. It took a while for some affected countries to wake up to the reality that like that lacks informant for tax informant children may have led to child trafficking in some cases. Yeah, this is a major issue with the current time because even during COVID, the second wave, we said we saw a lot of things related to, child trafficking. Skeleton details of children affected by the pandemic from all state governments and administration of union territories. These orders are a necessary reminder to the authorities that they have a special responsibility to protect the interests and welfare of children in times like this. Okay. Okay, so I think we don't need to discuss it in detail anymore. Encouraging accord. Okay, accord means I think it's mean a like a settlement, like Okay, let's say. Okay, so it's an official agreement. Cool. The political will show by the political will shown by G7 to ensure fairness and revenue sharing is good. Okay. What when I'm always fascinated with the words of the words they have mentioned here. Quite interesting. A sign of what will happen in the future. Oh, see, it's a interesting word after all. The finance minister of the G7 nations appear to have added the advice to never let a good crisis go to waste when they agreed last week to set a global minimum tax of at least 15% with the COVID-19 pandemic, having caused the world economy to shrink by an estimated of 3.5% in 2020 and forced most countries to dip into their coffers to mitigate the fallout. Okay. Coffers is also an interesting word. Uh, In a communique, the G7 ministers stressed that as part of efforts to secure a safe and prosperous future for all, they would strongly back the broader efforts underway through the G20 to address tax changes arising from globalization and digitalization of the economy. The increasing digitalization has, however, excavated, excavated, okay, excavated the challenges to taxing multinational corporations which have sought to minimize their total tax outgo by recognizing a bulk of their revenue in low tax jurisdictions. Okay, this is a much overlooked issue. The OECD, which is the G20 spearheading the inclusive framework on base erosion and profit shifting initiative aimed at ending tax avoidance, estimates that countries are collectively deprived of as much as 240 billion. So this is like you open a shell company and you channel all your money. So that this is what they're basically talking about. In my opinion, I think the promise and pearls of digital justice delivery. Phase 3 of e-course project can harness technology for service delivery without engaging surveillance risk. The e-code project. The e-committee of the Supreme Court of India recently released its draft and document of phase 3 of the e-code projects. Phase 1 and 2 had dealt with digitalization of judiciary, that is e-filing, track case up online. Okay, even though the job is not complete, particularly at lower level of the judiciary, the project can so far be termed a success. This has been particularly so during the COVID-19 pandemic when physical courts were forced to shut down. Phase 3 of the e-code projects, however, has reached the stage in a trilogy where the franchise starts trying to do much and goes off the tramline. On the surface, the objective remains noble. This commitment to digitalization of court process and plans to upgrade the electronic infrastructure of the judiciary and enable access to lawyer and litigants. Okay. However, the document goes on the purpose on ecosystem approach to justice delivery. It suggests a seamless exchange of information between various branches of state, such as between judiciary, the police, and the prison systems through interoperable criminal justice system. Okay. Okay, a cause of concern. Several individual organizations have warned against the zeal of the data collection exercises contemplated by the draft proposal. Everyone wants your data. I don't know what they're planning to do with the data, but everyone wants our data. Since the phase 3 vision document is a draft, there is still an opportunity to abandon the economic ecosystem approach. The objectives were to streamline judicial process, reduce pendency and help the litigants to continue to do so that within the framework of our fundamental rights, the e-courts must move towards localization of data instead of centralization. The e-committee must prevent the seamless exchange of data between the branches of the state that ought to remain separate. Technology plays an important role in the project, but it cannot be an end in itself. Then missing. Okay, let's move to the next one. The murky space of space audio. They're talking about Clubhouse. While apps like Clubhouse give a push to innovation, privacy and data rights remain out of focus. ये हर social media की कहानी है. Clubhouse, a new social marketing app based around audio rooms, surpassed 2 million Android downloads across the world last month. The key feature of the app is the unique medium audio through which its users interact that distinguishes it from well-established social media and messaging platforms like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, blah blah blah. Blah blah blah. Besides choosing their interests, users can also join various clubs, which are groups of members that share a common interest. After joining, users may get alerts for rooms hosted by such clubs. Clubs can also be used to interact with other people with whom they might share similar interests. A person can even start a club of their own or drop in into a room mentioned on the home or okay. Regulation changes. The very nature of the app raises a number of questions on privacy and security. Audio rooms are likely to throw up new challenges of data regulators who are yet to find effective ways to regulate traditional social media platforms. Audio based interactions are faster and in real time, mirroring real life far closely than text based interactions. Hence, traditional methods of content moderation may not work here. Okay. Cyberbullying and trolling driven by sexism, racism, and communalism can be more damaging. Okay. Yeah, makes sense. The app allows a person to join any room that their friends are part of, which may allow anyone to stalk a person as they move from room to room. The app even sends notification to their followers. The experience on those therefore involves constant hyper awareness about how every action is being broadcasted to followers. This is in contrast to popular platforms such as Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and others, which for all their flaws allow browsing and relative invisibility. Yeah, consider it feels like you're being watched. Concerns have been raised over how Clubhouse temporarily records the audio in a room while the room is live for purposes of investigating the incident and alleging when the room ends. However, with the lack of end-to-end encryption, interesting. The data is still potentially accessible. Furthermore, this recording is done without the consent of the user. Okay. Clubhouse also seeks permission to access users' content, which is insignificant privacy concern, as it gives the app. Guys, just give me a sec. App permissions smartphones have always raised questions of privacy, even apps that are meant for limited purposes. They require very interesting permissions such as call history and all. The big picture. The rise of cloud cannot be studied in isolation. It is one of the several apps that have grown popular during the COVID-19 pandemic as millions of people stuck in their homes look for new methods to communicate with each other. But its flaws aside, Clubhouse, with its promise of revolutionizing social media and communication through audio rooms, represent an attempt to innovate and provide an alternative to traditional platforms. Okay, let's go to the last. For the average user, Clubhouse might seem like a great lightweight app with an innovative premise, but it does not offer much in terms of privacy and data protection. And in that sense, it is not very different from traditional platforms. Apps like Signal are an exception in this regard. While the market of social audio is likely to soon become a battleground, the medium won't truly progress until innovation is balanced with respect to privacy, security, and data rights. The authors are law student of the Faculty of Law, Aligarh Muslim University. South Asia's healthcare burden. Despite the deliberating pandemic, state investment in health sector remains deeply inadequate. Uh, Lessons should be learned, but they haven't. On May 18 this year, India recorded, okay, there's many deaths from COVID-19, the highest daily death toll recorded in the world after the United States in January saw by 4,468 deaths. As India combats the pandemic, its neighbors are expecting spillover from the menacing second wave. The virus has swept through Nepal, while Sri Lanka added as many as 78,218 cases in May. Pakistan crossed over 200 daily deaths in April, its highest since the pandemic started. The situation in Bangladesh is precarious. Given the recent detection, just give me a sec, I'm just writing a word down. Uh, Given the recent detection of the highly contagious Delta variant, Bhutan is the only exception with only one death and 1,724 cases so far. The country's success stems from a well funded and prepared public health system with stringent measures, responsible citizenship, and an accountable government. South Asia can take lessons in pragmatic healthcare policy from Southeast Asia, which has prioritized investments in healthcare system while broadening equitable access to universal health coverage scheme. From Vietnam, preventive measures focus on investment in disease surveillance and emergency responses mechanism to even countries like Laos and Cambodia making a constant effort towards improving the healthcare system. All have done much better than their South Asian peers. It took a deliberating global pandemic to push South Asian policymakers to direct special attention and resources towards strengthening the health systems. But it's too late. Though the Indian government in this year budgeting highlighted an increase of 137% in health and well-being expenditure, a closer look reveals a mismatch between facts and figures. Learning from the devastation unleashed by the pandemic, South Asian countries must step up investment in their public healthcare sectors to make them sustainable, up to date, and pro poor. Most importantly, the system should not turn its back on citizens when needed. Exactly, because we saw the Delhi government case, and we saw every day we see cases of was that state Bihar. So yeah, they shouldn't turn their back when the citizens need them the most. Or hospitals misplace priorities. The notice by GB Pant hospital to staff against the use of Malayalam was in poor taste. The In a curious case, the GB Pant Hospital, which comes under the Delhi government, issued a notice on June 5. A complaint has been received regarding Malayalam language being used for communication in working places in GIP MEA, whereas the maximum patient and colleague do not know this language and feel helpless, causing a lot of inconvenience. It is directed to all nursing personnel to use only Hindi and English for communication, otherwise serious action will be taken. Okay, it was revoked when there was national backlash. It is mind boggling that language should be the Delhi government's first concern during a raging pandemic. The entire country watched with sympathy how Delhi struggled without the most basic healthcare infrastructure during the violent second wave of infection. It could neither provide adequate oxygen supply nor prevent the black marketing of essential drugs. Instead of supporting frontline workers, which includes doctors, nurses, and support staff, it chose to shower a section of them with cultural intolerance. Okay, these guys are literally धो रहे हैं Delhi government को. Ultimately, it is a failure that Delhi finds itself at odds with a section of its health workers. It can surely lead from the treatment of migrant workers in Kerala, a publicly built housing complex for them in Palakkad is called Apnagar. This is something hypocritical in accepting a person's labor by hating their language. Okay. Hmm. COVID is running a global, not like a language from it will. Okay, let's move. Telangana High Coast to get 18 more judges. It's good. Paddy has 4% rise from last year. It's good. Central deputation of officers very low. Many officers have been applied, but they are not getting a clearance. As per norm, states have to dispute all Indian service officers, including Indian police services, officers to central government officers, and at any point cannot be more than 40% of total cadre strength. Cadre, sorry. Having affects life in Mumbai. Okay, I was not aware of it. Reality from promoter book was cheating. Oh, let's move. Human rights should be central theme when it comes to people. The legislative president of the UN Central Assembly says the world body and community should have come together against any form of intolerance. I think Maldivian Prime Minister. Yesterday we talked about him. The Ma must resign for his comments, says Congress. Tomar. Okay, let's move. Now leads in cases followed by Kerala, Maharashtra, so Tamil Nadu is leading. That's something to not lead in. Okay. River Free Ration Scheme for Migrant Activists at Center. Yeah, I think it's important because that's the only way they're going to get food because the work is very limited these days. Hybrid hearings to continue in courts. Justice Chandrachud, who has spearheaded the transition of the courts from physical to virtual mode, said the committee was working on a uniform video conferencing mechanism for courts across the country. However, until then, the letter requested the CJs to opt for a suitable video conferencing solution from any form of available options. Robust solution. Until the e-community can eventually provide one video conferencing solution for all high courts, certain steps can be taken to facilitate judicial work on the reopening of the courts. Okay. The ultimate destination, the Vishnu Sasharam is Bhishma's response to very pertinent questions that the Yudhishthira. Okay, let's move. Let's roll. US Senate passes huge innovation bill. It seeks to pump more than $170 billion into tech research to counter growing economic threat from China. And yeah, they are moving towards tackling the biggest issue so far, which is China overtaking them in world economy. I think they have already overtook. I'm not well aware of the numbers. No decision yet on Indian consulate in Adu Atoll. What is okay? Cod vaccine partnership goals still on track. UN rights rapporteur warns of starvation deaths in Myanmar. Yeah, I think since the military overtook the control of the country, there are a lot of human rights violation and people are deprived of a lot of things. I presume it's just my opinion. I'm sorry if I'm wrong. Erdogan to visit Karabakh region won by Azerbaijan. Okay, let's move. UP favors GST reduction on essentials for COVID-19 care. Government wants to minimize the burden of people coping with pandemic. It's a good thing actually. And what are the essentials here? He was responded to a query of the possibility of levying a zero point 0.1 GST on COVID-19 materials ranging from vaccine and drugs, oxygen concentrators, cylinders that are taxed at 12 to 18%. It's a very good step, honestly. Government extends Jan's term at RBI by 2 years. Okay. Aim to vaccinate 20 crore by September. Run sites 24/7. Videocon rises 4.9 on NCTL node for when data forms of. Uh, China factory price surge signals global pressure. Producer price index rises 9%. Okay. Equity mutual funds saw 10,000 crores inflow in May. Wow. I think now this explains why my portfolio saw a good rise in last couple of days. Advent exists, Crompton sells 5.4% stake. Okay. Cabinet approves 5 megahertz spectrum for railways. Non-life insurers get health boost. Okay, let's move. Japan may allow domestic spectators for the Olympics. I think this is for the Olympics. Yeah, it's starting very soon. No comparison with Messi, says Chitri. Um, Sometimes I really feel for Sunil Chitri because he India didn't get its fair share of you know popularity and viewership. Indian football. A move in the right direction, say veteran decision to move more Indians in playing 11 lauded by football fraternity. I am prepared to go with unbranded sports kit at okay. Indian Grand Prix scheduled for June 21. Okay. I think yeah, we are done. So thank you for your time. In case you have some suggestion, then please let me know in the comment section and subscribe if you have watched till the end. Subscribe and like the video. I think you should because if you have watched till the end. And thank you for your time. Have a good day.